Hi, welcome to this video, and in this video I'm actually going to talk about the technology stack that we currently have at Zimmerot for measuring sodium in not in analytes but in samples such as urine. So I'll actually change camera and just talk about the technology stack that I have in front of me. So I have some sodium sensors, slightly gross. I have some urine here, and I have a little source of sodium as well. Now what I'm going to do is think quite quickly. Yeah. Now at ZP, we obviously have sodium sensors, we have readers. Now understand that the readers on the analog front end, etc., are fully developed in-house at ZP. So the electronics are all ours, let's say. Now our business model is contract development, contract manufacturing, and we also have some sodium sensors. Now what we sell on the web store is kind of really for sort of TRL 3. It allows people just to do sort of proof of principles. Now, because we are ISO 13485, people can actually engage us in a much more meaningful program to actually make something that becomes FDA approved, for example, like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my phone and I'm just going to scan this QR code. Now, I know that my phone says sodium in milk. We're able to reprogram, if I can call it that, this app quite quickly by just using QR codes. I can turn it on a reader on my phone, and as I say, I scan a QR code and it becomes a particular analyte. Now in this particular case, I'm just going to use this sodium in milk QR code because it's something that I have in hand, even though the sample here is actually urine. Now what I'll do is I'll take the sensor, I will put that on like that. I will grab some urine. In fact, before I do that, I'm just going to name this. So I will say sodium, well, I'll just put urine test. Let's say urine test. Understand that the app is also the business model is EP, as I say, is contract development, contract manufacturing. But if somebody wants to move quickly, then we can sort of bring them to an MVP, a minimally viable product, or sorry, prototype, quite quickly. And this would be kind of one of those ways, let's say. But we understand that actually a lot of people, don't want the ZP look and feel. They actually want their own. But this does show what we have on the shelf, let's say. So what I'll do now is I'm just going to take some urine, which I will do. I'll put it on the sensor. I'll go continue. Now this app is not developed necessarily specifically for an application that somebody has in mind. It's just something that we have as a sort of generic way. But we're reading that urine now. I will let that get to about here-ish, and then I will just add in a little bit of sample like that, and off that goes. Now what it'll do now is it will process the data and give a result. So it gives a result, but the result is not correct because this was developed for milk. Somebody wanted a sort of MVP for milk, so we did that quite quickly. You understand that for each matrix, different calibrations, different there are different variables. Now what I want to do now is, but what I have shown you is what the sensors look like in terms of their form factor. What I have shown you is at least we have a piece of hardware, but we're completely in control of the electronics. What I have shown you is that we do have an app. This app is available on the App Store now, and also on the Google Play Store as well. And what I'm now going to show you is something called Julie. Especially when you're doing kind of clinical trials and people may be remote from you. You want some way of kind of getting a sense of what's going on here. So I'll just show you something called Julie. Now remember I called that test something like urine. So let's have a quick look for something called urine. Yeah, there we are, urine test. So all the time I was talking, and it was actually sending the data to the cloud as well, which is really useful. You don't need to put patient ID up in this, by the way. This is not intended for you to be putting patient ID up there, but it is intended that you can have a test done somewhere and the results will go to the cloud and you can go in there and view it. And it's really useful for us because at ZP, if we're part of a development program, we can kind of come in and we can start processing the data. So I may just flip the data around the y-axis. I may just whoops, that's offsetting. I'm going to flip around the x-axis. I might flip around the y-axis. I just want to kind of see what it's done to my data. But you can see here that we have quite a quick way of turning raw signal into concentrations. Yeah, so I can see what I'm looking for now. Now I'm just going to do a quick analysis. So I'll do a delta fit in this particular case. I think I'll put minus 550 in here, and I'll put 100 in here. I just want to kind of have a quick look what that means. You can understand that I'll put 5 seconds here. Let me just have a quick look what that means. So we've got quite a technology stack: sensors, electronics, apps, and then a cloud where actually we can process data quite quickly. Yep, so I can see that. What I'm going to now do is I'm just going to guess. I'm going to make up some calibration factors, 0.1, just to give you a sense of what we can do quite quickly. So what this has done now is I'm very quickly turning raw signal, let's say, into concentration. I'm just going to change that a little bit by another order of magnitude, because I can see I'm out by an order of magnitude. So let me just put that in like that. And so what I'm doing is turning raw signal into sodium chloride concentration in milligrams per liter. So I've done that. So I've got a raw signal, and I can now start working with the client and actually send that result back to the cloud, because I've kind of guessed at some calibration factors in this particular case. But if I was just to do a quick summary of what we've talked about today, at ZP we do have sodium sensors, and they're on the web store, but those are really only intended to get you to technology readiness level number 3. But we do have analog electronics. They're all built by us, designed by us. We put them in the sensor or meter, but we can also take the electronics out and put them into, let's say, another form factor. We do have connectivity. So this is an app. As I say, it's available. We're not expecting people to go to market with that, but it does certainly help when you're trying to get to a minimally viable prototype. It's driven by QR code, so it's very easy to generate a new QR code and reskin the app and give it a new application. And then we do have this whole cloud system here, which you can see there's sort of thousands of hours, if not tens of thousands of hours that have gone into this, being able to turn electrochemical signal into a concentration really quickly. So you can really see it's a full technology stack. So if you do have any questions regarding ZP, don't hesitate to contact us. Okay, thanks very much.